My name is Dr. Danish Khan, and I'm assistant professor in electrical engineering department at Indus University, Karachi. So today I am introducing the course of power generation, the seventh semester of BE department, electrical engineering department. They study this course in their last year. So let's move towards the course introduction. So in power generation is the key course. We can say that it is the key subject in electrical power engineering because the power systems are divided into three sections: power generation, power transmission, and then we will go for power distribution and load. So the contents of my today's presentation are: firstly, we will firstly, we will know about the introduction to power generation course, and then I will explain objectives, learning outcomes, course contents, and some main topics, teaching plan, and assessment plan, and I will also show that from which material, which books, papers, and sources I am going to utilize in while teaching this course. So, introduction to power generation course. The first thing we are going to know about today. Before the students start this power generation course, before this study this power generation course, they should have some knowledge. They should have some required knowledge with they already studied in their previous semesters. So the first thing is in power generation, the students must know about what is power station and know about the switch gears. And in the second portion, actually the system is divided into three categories. The power system is divided into three categories. We can say that the generation, transmission, and distribution. So the students must know about these categories. Students must know about transmission line, the type of transmission line we are using, and they should know about the power flows, that how power is controlled, and how power is transmitted from generating station to load. And they should know about the distribution and load type, load nature. They should know about their distribution systems too before starting this course. They should know about the substations and consumers. Consumers here are the customers, our customers. We can say that the consumers are the people who use our delivered power. Again, in layman language, we can say like this. Consumers can be residential, industrial, or commercial. So introduction to, so I already explained that students must know about the transmission lines and distribution lines. These two are the main hot areas students must know about before starting this power generation course. The first thing I divided a power generation course in different categories. Like firstly, we will study about the load and then different type of power stations. And then after that, we will study some renewable energy generation. But in every topic, we discuss some main things. Here I am explaining those. Load. In every type of generation, we discuss about these major things. Like the first thing is the first factor is the load. Before I start to plan to install a power station, I should know about my load. That what is the load curve? What is the maximum load? What is the minimum load? And what is the nature of load? Nature of load means the load curve, that how it changes. For example, if load is changing from 1 megawatt to 2 megawatt in 1 minute, then the nature of load is different. So I will plan according to these conditions. So in load, the most important calculation is the prediction of load forecasting, load forecast. That before installing a power generation, I must know that what will be my load in coming years. For example, I want to install a hydroelectric power station. So it takes like 2 years to 5 years and sometimes 7 years uh, to build a dam and then to install a generators and auxiliary system and all those things. We must know about the load, that what will be my load when this power then when this specific power generation station will be completed, and what will be the load after 5 years, after 10 years. So we must know about this, because I cannot plan any power station before knowing the load. So load forecasting is related to, like, to do load forecasting, we study about previous data, that for example, we study about last 5 years load, that what was the maximum load and what was the load curve per month, per day. And after watching the history, we plan for future. This is a load forecasting. And not only watching the history, but we also apply some other factors like survey. We do survey of industry, that what's their plan after 5 years. So after that, I can know the future load, that what will be my load after 5 years, 10 years, and according to that, I plan my installation of a power station. So that we must meet the load. The basic requirement of power generation is that we must meet the load. It means that the power generation should be equal to the power consumption, or should be greater than the power consumption. Sorry, the capacity, the generation capacity should be greater than the power consumption. So these are the factors which we look in load. So after that, after I know my load, after I predict my load, the next step is I will choose the power generation type, whether I need to install the wind power plant, I need to install a solar. It's better for solar. For solar, I will do calculations and I will do cost analysis. Of course, solar is costly. So I will also look upon my resources and whether I can afford the oil power station, the oil generation through oil, we call it a diesel power station, or I will go for hydroelectric. I will also look about the geographical conditions and available of water and all these things. After that, we can make a choice that which type of power generation should I choose. So, so we will study about different types of power stations. Almost we cover more than 90% of different types of power station, in which we will cover nuclear, hydroelectric, diesel generation, and of course renewable energy resources. And after I choose the type of power generation, I must do cost analysis. For example, I will choose, okay, I say, okay, wind power generation is good for us because its running cost is minimum. But what will happen that whether I have, because the renewable energy, when we see the renewable energy resources, the installation cost is a bit high, quite high. Installation cost is quite high. So we need to do cost analysis too on every power station that which I am going to install in that specific area. I must know about I must do cost analysis, the installation cost, running cost, and life of power plant. So what its life, that for how many years it can generate up to its 50% capacity, 30% capacity, or 80% capacity. This is about the Yeah. So principle, after that, we will also study about the principle of operation and control. Basically, in previous courses like power system analysis, students already have some knowledge about operation and control. Here we are going in some details and characteristics and properties of different type of generators. So the second section of my presentation is objectives. That what are the objectives and scope of this course? What is the significance? What students can learn from this course? So to make a feasibility report of power station, after studying this specific course, students will be able to make a feasibility report of any power station, because they will do load prediction, they will do cost analysis, they will look upon site, they will look upon taxes. All we are covering in this subject, in this specific power generation subject. So they will understand the economics of power stations, that which power station is expensive, which is better, and it's not only about the running cost, it's also about the future planning. For example, if you can see that if hydroelectric, the life of hydroelectric power station is, for example, it's like 100 years. So we will compare it with diesel electric power station. So diesel electric power station life is quite low, because there is engine, it has some life. So this is the economics of power station, that I will do, the students will be able to do long-term planning, that which power station suits this area, this specific area, by watching our resources. To study the components of different power plants, they will study the components of different power plants which we use in each power station. There are different components, like in hydroelectric there are turbines, there are tunnels, there are spillways, there are walls. So all this, these are the components of any power plant. Like for nuclear power plant, there is nuclear reactor and generators and its starting process. These are our components. They will be able to compare different type of power stations and their importance. They will be able to compare the diesel, they will able to compare the generation of a specific area, that about diesel generator, about diesel power station, or gas power station, in which way they should go for before planning to install power station. They will able to compare this. To operate and control power delivered by power station, as I explained already, that this is also the most important factor in power generation, that how the power station is operated, how it is controlled. So like I'm here giving example, like in hydroelectric there's a governor system that controls the flow of water, and the flow of water that controls the flow of water towards the turbine, and we increase and reduce our power generation by watching the load. If load increases, generation increases. If load reduces, generation reduces. So this is the operation and control, which we are also study for every type of power station, and students will be able to understand the operation and control after studying this course. They can plan the number of generators, that how much generators I should install in any power station, how many generating units I should install in any power station, and what should be the size and what should be the schedule. Schedule is also most important. For example, I have 1000 megawatt generator and I have 500 kilowatt generator. So which generator should I turn off? What is the starting time? And what is the load behavior in coming hour? So all these factors, there are a lot of other factors which we consider before making the schedule of power stations as well as schedule of units in a specific power station. So learning outcomes of this course, C and CLOs, we will cover CO1 to describe the basic concept of various power generating technologies, and CO2, we will explain the working principle of different power plants, and CO3, we will illustrate the applications of different power plants by keeping the site cost and performance in our mind. This we will study in our case study or our research report. We will illustrate, we can study some case, power generation case of Wapta or K-electric or this. So after CLOs, we will move towards PLOs. We are going to cover 2 POs in this course. One is engineering knowledge and another is problem analysis. Of course, engineering knowledge is the basic PO. We will get the knowledge about the power stations, their accessories, their auxiliary system, their working principle. We will get knowledge about their basic concept. And after that, we will also solve some problems related to a different type of generations and load and power delivered. All these things we are going to do some problem analysis on these things in our power generation course. Cognitive, there are 3 C1, C2 and C4. We are going to cover memorize, understand and analyze. These are the 3 C's we are going to cover in our power engineering course. So course content, here I explain the main topics of power generation. The first was choosing a generation type. First thing in my mind after I plan to install or plan to build or plan to design any power station, the first thing comes in my mind that which type of generation I should have for this specific load and for this specific city, this specific area, this specific geography. So this is in this, firstly we will study about the study of loads. Of course, study of load is most important. I don't know about the nature of my load, I cannot install a power station. I cannot know my capacity. I cannot plan my generators scheduling. I cannot schedule my units, generating units. If I talk about units, it means the generators. So I cannot schedule about the units, that which unit I should turn on and which unit I should turn off. So I can only know after forecasting of load. So electricity cost, after that, if I will choose a generation type, I will also compare its cost with current electricity cost, for example, provided by K-electric or Wapta in Pakistan. I must know about the electricity cost. If electricity cost is less than my electricity cost is less than or equal to the generation, installation and running cost, we will calculate and compare both costs, electricity cost plus running cost, life, everything. After comparison, if generating station is expensive for me, so I will not go for it. So electricity cost is also important. So introduction to power station, of course, if I'm going to choose power station, I should know about the different type of power stations. So in this topic, in this phase, we'll just study the basics of power stations and electricity cost and loads. So after that, we are moving towards the power generation, types of power generation. So the hydroelectric power plant, in this area, we will study about the introduction, working principle, and different types of water turbines. And after that, we will study about the types of generators, properties, their size, cost, steam station and steam generators. After hydroelectric, we will move toward the steam stations that comes in thermal. So in this introduction, working principle, design, then we will go towards the gas power plant, its plant layout and different types of gas turbines, and we'll also study about the operation and control. The combined cycle power plant we will also study the introduction, working principle, and design. Diesel power station, the same thing, introduction, working principle, and also about the cost, because in diesel power station the cost is important, and especially for Pakistan. Pakistan is importing lot of barrels of oil from Middle East and other countries. So for diesel power station, cost is also an important factor. Nuclear power station, there are some limitations in nuclear power stations, that we can only operate it at base load, because turning off and turning on, it takes a lot of times, a lot of hours, days even. So we will study about the operation and control. Operation and control of nuclear power station is the most important, and electrical and power engineer must know about it. Power reactors also a part of nuclear power station. We will study about the various design, working principle, and some introduction. But at last, we will study about the renewable energy generation, which is the most important among them. Which is renewable energy generation is the hot topic of research these days. So students must know about this. They not only the definitions and the introduction of renewable energy, but they should know about the new ideas in coming days or in near future. Introduction, we will study about the introduction, importance, and types. They are wind, solar, tidal, and after that we will cover MHD generators, the same thing, problems, configurations, and what will be my teaching plan. In my teaching plan, the first thing I am going to discuss is the ways of teaching, that how I will teach in online or in class. I will prepare PPT of every lecture, and also prepare some videos for students, that because the power generation videos are most interesting. So we will also do some board calculations, of course, for example, load forecast, generator scheduling, economics. For this we have to do some calculations. So after I introduce the ways of teaching, I should know about the students' response. So what is the students' analysis? I should do some analysis on students. During my lecture, mostly I'm explaining my lecture breakup, that for example, I will explain about the topic for half an hour or 40 minutes, and then the remaining time I will give to students, ask different type of questions, so that they should have practiced that how they use their mind. So I will ask different type of questions, and of course, after students answer those questions, we must have to encourage students. And I will give different tasks. For example, I will say, okay, this is the load, and make a schedule of generators. So these are the class tasks. And then after that, encouragement and appreciation is most important for students. They love if teacher, they love to study if teacher encourage them. So we will talk about new ideas too. That, for example, I'm explaining some type of power stations. I will explain the working principle, and then I will ask from students what comes in your mind. What improvement should this type of power generation should have? So these are the new ideas, which we mostly miss in education institutes in Pakistan. So my assessment plan is that I will divide my assessments in different sections: quizzes, assignments, presentations, midterm, case study, and research report. The most important part of my course, the research report about new ideas, about current situations, and the final term. So there will be 4 quizzes, 4 assignments, 2 presentations, 1 research report, and midterm and final. So the percentage will be divided as quizzes and assignments. Quizzes, assignment, and presentations will be composed of 10% of total marks, while midterm 20% and final term is 40%. While and 10% is research report. So the material which I am going to use is books as well as some research papers. Firstly, the books, I'm going to use 3 books, Elements of Electric Power Station Design, and these books are also recommended from HSC. I have personally studied this book, and I think that these books are best for this specific course. So we will, the books is about the course, the basic ideas, and the basic concepts, processes, principles, design, we will go towards it. But when we will talk about the new ideas, because books are behind than research papers. So we will also study some research papers about some research papers, especially in that assessment, in that research report, which I have explained that my research report, that case study and research report, I have explained that it will compose of 10%. So for new ideas, I'm going to cover in this 10%. So we must study some research papers before thinking about new ideas, because without that, the current research, without knowing about this year research or last year research or previous 5-year research, I cannot explain the new idea. Because while studying books, students say, okay, this is the new idea. They explain something, but it already have been published. It already have been applied from some scientist or engineer before. So we must know about where the research lies. So we have to know about the research papers. I mostly use these websites for research paper, Elsewhere, Springer, or IEEE Explore. So that was my explanation about the course power generation. And so that's all from me. Thank you for watching.